and not lean toward fables. And that is a big thing. Amen. We were just talking in the prayer room earlier that there is so much information out there today that it's accessible no matter where you go. If there's internet or someone that's been, where there's internet and go into some remote area, they have the capability of communicating good truth or fables or half-truths, which to me are like fables. And what is a fable? The Bible speaks a lot about fables, and so a fable is a false account posing to be truth. Now, a fable will generally include an element of truth in it. Otherwise, people will identify it straight away. Oh, that's a load of rubbish. But it involves and it contains an element of truth. And then there's either opinion, there could be genealogies as it speaks about, or the Jews with their oral additions, things that they put in and expanded on things that should never have been expanded on. And we're seeing this in the Christian church today. It is incredible. I read an article, it would be probably 3-4 months ago, and yet the article I read said X, Y, Z. And then I received an email from a person over the other side of the world, and they said, oh, we read this article, same article, but what they said was in it was X, Y, Z plus everything else that was not in the original article. So what I'm saying is that the human being has the capacity to read something that was written with good intention, and we see that, and then the mind will then think, well, I think because of what I've seen here, this adds on to that. Next thing you know, you get this perversion of truth that spreads out across the whole planet. And I believe that God is instructing and encouraging the Christian church today to put aside those things and to remain focused on Christ, to remain focused on His Word, to remain focused on what we've been taught over the years, those things that are noble, those things that are true, those things that are praiseworthy, those things that are of good report, to focus on that. Out of this election thing, I tell you what, is your computer inbox flooded with opinions from around the world? Well, mine has been. And, what do you believe? And so somewhere, we've got to be careful that we don't lose our focus, that we don't exchange the compass that points true north and pick someone else's compass up and follow that leads us into error. And so I really believe that God Himself has a way of encouraging us to remain in truth. And the only way I believe to remain in truth, or the starting point, is to remain in Him. In Him. And in Him alone. To remember that our salvation didn't come by any man's opinion or by any person's will, but by the will of God. That Christ, our salvation came with Christ, it started with Christ, it flowed with Christ, and it continues with Christ. That salvation, Jesus equals salvation. There's nothing else that can be added to it. And so there are great distractions that are being thrown out there. If you like, one example I saw a number of years ago was a deck of cards. And this man said that and it's true, I used to play cards years ago, and I give it away. I don't like board games anymore. Anyone here like board games? I'll pray for you after the service. Do you know why they call it board games? Oh man, God help us. And so anyway, the Ace of Hearts is the highest card in the deck. And wouldn't life be so easy if there was only one Ace of Hearts to choose from. But over the centuries, there have been so many different religions and another card thrown into the deck. And then people today are spread out, the 52 cards, that's excluding the Joker and what have you, and to try and choose which is the right one. Because there have been so many others thrown in there to confuse people, to distract them. And I see this as what the Lord has been showing me for weeks now, is that, Rob, bring this message of people being consolidated together on the truth, to be focused on what really, really matters, what is true, what at the end of the day is going to make a difference in this world. You know that something I received, that a Google search showed over COVID, that the top 10 things that people were searching, one of them was, who is the Antichrist going to be? It was right up there. And this thought came to me, it was just like, well, wouldn't it be more important to know who the Christ is? You don't worry about the Antichrist. The Antichrist does not bring us into eternal life with God the Father. It's Christ himself. And so can you see how there's